I've got unfinished business. That business being my multiplayer game. This journey began with a self-imposed game jam to create a present for my friend within 24 hours. And that journey involved a lot of high-paced action, shots fired, and of course a lot of bugs to squash. I failed last time, but I'm back this time to finish what I started and redeem myself. And so of course, it's devlog time. You tell me, would you want to be playing a game with a power-up icon looking like that? This disgusting, hideous piece of trash over here? Is that what you're into? If that is, be my guest. Otherwise, you best hope that I get this sorted out. The code, blah 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 blah, problems here. I think looking at the editor, I don't know why, but it's not going to add lap times. I need to get to the bottom of that, and once I've got that sorted, you can actually race in this game. That's right. You could do the main function of this game. Woo! But looking at my previous track history, I'm going to end up spending another 6 hours looking at this one line and end up wasting way too many hours of my life, which I'll never get back as I watch them escape into the deep, black, existential void which is non-existence. Okay, so essentially I'm back, and this time I'm just trying to get the laps thing going. That's cause, well, it's a racing game. I'd expect to have laps going. Are you serious? Nah. Okay, I've just realized I probably wasted like the past couple of hours, days. I could be making a lot more progress because of this silly little error which I've got over essentially here. This bit makes no sense whatsoever. Essentially, this array is predefined, that checkpoint is predefined, but if I zoom out here, and this is where you'll see the absolute stupidity of myself, you'll notice something very, very, very shocking. Little mistakes like that after, I don't know, sleep deprivation, wasting my time, staring at code for too long has cost me 12 hours, minimum. Okay, cool, so essentially what happens in this game, I'll have cars. Each car is going to have a number of laps completed and the final time. So that's basically the number of laps it takes to complete each lap. So what essentially is going to happen is I've labeled each of these checkpoints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with 8 being the final one. What each car has to do is obviously pass through one to the next to the next. Otherwise it can't complete. This is just to stop people from like trying to go meow, 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 and then just finishing the game. So essentially we go from one checkpoint to the next, blah de blah de blah de blah. Alright, so I've set colliders at each of these checkpoints, and obviously each of these cars can collide so that we can detect, oh hey, you actually passed this checkpoint. So essentially I'm going to show a block of code for those of you who actually care. Basically all that does is, oh, have we passed this final checkpoint? If so, congratulations, you have completed a lap. In theory. I hope that works. I do not understand what is the point of this. This makes no sense. This makes no sense at all. I be overcomplicating it, and I think that I actually have driven myself insane. Good news is, this sheet of paper with all these bugs, useless. The bad news is that now the game is kind of unresponsive. Not because of code, but like just driving the thing doesn't feel as nice as it used to. So let me just show you a little bit of this to show what I mean. You already see how I'm already having a hard time controlling this. Okay, so to celebrate our success in actually getting the bare bones functionality of this going, I've decided I'm going to treat you with a lovely demo of this entire, well, demo course I've got going so far. So you get to witness all these sick drifts and failures. Just to show you that, well, everything's gonna work. Of course, I've got all the basics which I needed to get down, all the hard stuff done, so now the sky's the limit. I mean, what else is gonna stop me now, huh? I mean, it's certainly not going to be multiplayer, it's not going to be movement, it's not going to be setting up laps, blah 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 blah. Hopefully, when I do get this out, of course there's going to be polishes, but if for whatever reason I'm a moron and I decide to put this for beta testing right now, please do not complain about the turn speeds. I've tried doing what I can, and that stuff, if I spent any more time trying to figure that stuff out, was going to give you an aneurysm. And so for the sake of progress, I've decided to ignore that. If your PC can't handle some good turns, I'm sorry, but that's your fault. Your setup sucks. Upgrade it now. So let's actually start getting onto the features which I actually wanted to be implementing from the beginning. And that will be, okay, displaying placements on the screen. That's doable. Actually, hold on. Wait a second. Now that I think about it, on the surface it's doable, but me being me, I know I'm going to overly complicate that. And I sure hope that I do not do that and end up wasting even more time trying to solve that I really should be, and further delaying this project to a date way beyond its expiration date. I sure hope I do not do that whatsoever. It's been a few weeks and I actually finally got back to the game for once. I'm just going to work on the UI stuff, make sure that all of this fancy doodads with the blah 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 on the screen. I want to make sure I've got that up, I want to make sure I've got placements going. I want to make sure I've got a pause menu, hopefully the start menu later on. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go spend an hour or two grinding on this, and you'll see the product of this soon enough. Psych! We've got number of laps and final times. Well, obviously I want to use the number of laps and a variable called distance to the next checkpoint to determine, well, which one has passed more checkpoints. So if they're on the same checkpoint, cool. Then I want to see which one's closest to the next checkpoint to see, oh, which one's first, which one's second. If I find out which one is which, I will put you in first because you number one, and I'll put you in number two. But the moments that number two decides he wants to overtake number one, these will swap. And so just to represent those two on the same side, blah blah blah, I'm just going to put 0 as first and 1 as second. So an issue I faced later on is that 1 goes to player 1 and 0 goes to player 2, when it really should be the other way around. My job is now to figure out why on earth that's happening and get to the bottom of that. Oh, you are not going to believe this. Alright, at the time of recording, just to put salt into my wounds, let me show you something ugly. You see this? Yes, hold on. Let me put the filter just so you can see what I'm seeing. This monstrosity. Right here. Now, for you Scousers, you're probably having a lovely time. But I'm a United fan, so, yeah, that should tell you more than enough about how I feel about that horrible result. So theoretically, if I complete the lap, then it should actually be showing in this one. So, we'll play test. If it works, hooray, because that means I don't have to do anything else for today. And I'm going to call it quits here. Otherwise, I'm still going to call it quits, but I wouldn't have made any progress, and that would just make me mad. So, for the sake of my mental fortitude, after watching United lose to Liverpool 7-0, with Nunez scoring twice, Firmino scoring in like literally the 1 minute I turn around, Salah scoring twice, Cody Gakpo scoring twice, everyone taking all the shots they want.
What did he say?
Ridiculousness. After all of that, I want to at least see just laps working on this. That's all I want. Lap, please. I want to hopefully get this figured out ASAP, so I can go to sleep on time and actually have a productive day tomorrow. Ta-da! And as you can see, laps are working for this. Now, why, oh why, oh why? What? Okay, let's see what happens if I add a new client. Where does it add to those lists? It just added to final times as well. Okay, look, nah, I give up. I'm just gonna need to note that down again. So, at least placements on the screen is working. Yay, that's a feature. Power up corner, I can get rid of that bug. Yip yip hooray. That's off my screen. Car cannot reach checkpoint 7. That bug, yay, that's also gone. 1 extra value stored for last checkpoints. Not my problem. Okay, cool. So that makes me happy. Final times doesn't always have 0 elements. We store lap times, they're just stored in the wrong place. Checkpoints cannot update number of laps. Okay, cool. So all those bugs from last time, yay, I've actually managed to sort out. Alright, that's fantastic. Now, what we do need to get sorted out is our defense. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ten Hag, what are you doing? Trash. Wait, were there always 2 car clones? Hold on, were there always 2 car clones? Oh, okay, nope. You know, I'm done. Alright, hold on, I'm gonna give myself a break. Next, scene. Ooh. It's the next day, and just to make things interesting, I actually did manage to resolve the issue with the placements. And so this leads me on the noble task of figuring out what else I want to do. So, I realized what the problem was behind all of that. So, essentially, you'll see these. You'll notice that play 2 is 0 and player 1 is 1. That was the condition I was expecting while playing around with. While player 1 is 0 and 2 is 1. So, whenever I was referring to the number of lines here, I'll be referring to basically the wrong one, so I just found what I've simply done is, instead of just setting card number to I, I've basically set it to basically I starting from the other end. These will swap. I want to probably start working on another thing, so like one of these things would be ready, a ready up thing where just like how you know how it goes in like most multiplayer games, you've got like a lobby and people you can't start the race until the lobby goes, and anyone who tries to join afterwards can't. Alright, we're back here. I think it's the next day or somewhere close to that, whatever. But essentially what I've spent last hour or so is just trying to work on UI. So I've got most of it working. What I essentially hope to do, so I'm going to see if I can try and get it finished now before I go to bed, is when each of these panels are, I'm just going to replace it with spawn points, and it's just going to loop through spawn each player, blah blah blah, and then we're ready to radio. You press radio, and then just like disable like player movements and stuff like that in the meantime. And bada bing, bada boom, I've got a lobby system working, and I don't need to worry about trying to spawn players in and then trying to spawn their cars in afterwards. That's a pain. I don't want to do that. And then let's say for next levels and stuff, blah blah blah, because I want to make sure that in the future, well, I want people to be racing more than one track. I can possibly use that as an excuse to learn Blender again, make a new Bezier curve, blah 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 track and all that. Just make something cool. And so essentially, in order to get that happening, or at least the way I want it to be happening, I just want to sort out this UI. And yeah, once I've got that going, it's a lot more visual, looks nice, and it crosses out this.
Nice.
Ta-da! That's essentially what I was trying to do this entire time, just enable you to complete a lap even when other players just log off. For those of you who wish to see the additions to the code which did all this to me, and basically this fetch. Actually, a good idea is I'm gonna have each of the cars just unable to move unless the ready up signal is sent from the server or the host to all the other ones, and yeah, that should pretty much sort it. And so with that little monologue over, off to the next day. Okay, we're back. It's been a couple of months, and I'm just gonna continue with where I left off from. Essentially, I figured out that whatever bugs are written on there, like all cars are named the same, blah blah blah, I don't care about, so screw it. And the transforms bit, that's not really a problem anymore, which means we can work on features. Yeah. I've honestly aged. I've become 18 before I finally managed to start working with features.
You old dog.
Okay, cool. So I figured out before I depress myself, I am just gonna start simple. So I'm just gonna start showing the lap times for all players on screen, which is just gonna be a slight addition to like the whatever you see already. Okay, as soon as you cross the lap times, we show it to screen, and I'll just put lap number, and then maybe compare it to the one before. Does it work?
Yeah, baby!
me. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Wait. You will not believe me when I tell you this, but you see this code right here. You see that? Yeah, this, all that. That took me 2 to 3 hours to figure out. I don't know. Sometimes I can be so slow. Honestly, don't care. It works, we can move on to the next thing. A few months later, I've suddenly decided I want to get back at working on this. And this is a really horrible time for me to be doing this. Why? I have exams, one of which is in 3 days after I just got absolutely manhandled by what I did today.
Oh yeah? What's about to happen again?
Oh, good morning, Rupert. Please tell me you set the timer on the coffee maker because I completely forgot. Hey, Carl. Hey, can I get a couple of scratch-off lottery tickets?
Oh, sure, Brian.
Oh, Brian, can I do one? I love scratches. Well, all right, maybe just one. Cherry. Another cherry. Oh, come on, one more.
For whatever strange reason, I decided after scrolling down nonsense on a paper for 2 hours, I've decided I want to induce to myself more pain by working with a programmer's favorite chore, networking. Honestly, I need help. My masochism is unrestrained. Please help. And for those of you strange fellows who do not believe me, this is what I've been working on for the past half an hour. I mean, thankfully I found a YouTube video on CodeMonkey, which I'm literally using to go through right now, but I need to figure out, well, this is just lobbies, this part's not hard, but it's just converting everything I've previously done, which is on a LAN, into wireless, which means I'm just taking it from hard to harder.
What did he say?
If this goes well, then I can actually start working on something cool, like drifting, manual drifting, like that stuff in Mario Kart you like. I would not get your hopes up on this video being released up until like summer. Like, you have no idea. This project, I've kind of been working on it on and off intermittently, non-stop ever since last time I uploaded, which, whoa, that was, with the shocking total of over 3 months ago. It is the next day from when I last recorded, and I've decided I want to bless you with content. To what extent, you may ask? Well, I wish I could turn the camera to the side, but I could do you something one better. I can show you my phone. You want to know what time it is right now for me?
What are you doing?
I have an exam in 2 days. But I figured, more networking, and so I've spent the last 4 hours working on this. So far, kinda good. I assume there's no errors, which, if you know, you know. That's a dumb idea. But I shall assume that there are no ideas, because if this section works so far, I just need to figure out how to make it work with that, so I can actually, you know, connect you to the cars, so you can actually drive and play the game. But for once, I am sort of okay with networking. That is not due to any work of my own. I have not bothered to do that much research. I'm literally relying on a CodeMonkey tutorial. I'll edit one up there. That is the tutorial which has been saving my hind, and here's the problem. It's 2 parts. The part I am on is an hour long. So once again I ask myself, why am I doing this to myself? And sometimes mine says, I just truly don't know.
You stupid.